Hi everyone, I am super excited to be before you guys tonight. I have a topic I truly want to discuss talking about wife qualities. As you guys know, we've been having numerous discussions about just dating effectively, being mindful of who you're dating, asking the right questions, being open to just constructive criticism, learning, unlearning, being teachable, and just so many other different topics. If you have not had an opportunity to review all of our prior videos, we do ask that you go to our website at www.ourfaithconnects.com or go to our YouTube platform, Our Faith Heals, and you'll be able to view the videos there as well. Super excited about tonight's discussion. Amen. Amen. All right. All right. You guys should be able to see my screen now. I first want to thank everyone who has downloaded our free 10-step e-guide on how to date effectively. That 10-step e-guide was written thoroughly, and I do believe it will be helpful for everyone who's looking to date and looking to connect with people. Thank everyone who has had the opportunity to review our free e-guide on how to date effectively. We hope to bring insight on the importance of dating effectively when fulfilling godly purpose and assignment. The choice on who to marry will be one of the most biggest decisions you will make. When connecting with the wrong individual, it can derail you from the path God has set for you because of interest, idolatry, and readiness. A lot of times people are just ready, they're just overly ready, so they end up falling into idolatry as well as their own self-interest, and it can derail us from what God is trying to reveal in the moment because we're so focused on what we want. You should never allow the desire to be loved, appreciated, catered to, and to build with someone outweigh what God is actually saying in the current season. The flesh causes us to rush in a season or walk into seasons prematurely. We live in a society where instant gratification has become normalized and has crept in the daily way of thinking and actions, giving little to no access for God to reign and lead in our lives. Instant gratification merely gives room for accountability, honesty, acceptance, and patience. So when people want things right away, we end up wanting to control how things turn out, opposed to allowing God's will to be done. In the realm of dating, the need for companionship can weaken morals, boundaries, and non-negotiables. We have created a free 10-step e-guide to date effectively. This guide does not guarantee a successful relationship, but it helps to prevent years of wasted time in dating with just potential. Because the reality of it is that the person that you are dating, if you're only dating for the potential of them becoming, they may never get there. It gives way to clear understanding of expectation and whether the individual will be a fit for where God has taken you. So this guide will definitely help with that, asking the right questions, just seeing if you're actually equipped and prepared to just step into the dating world, being healed, and just really being open to correction, understanding new wisdom, being teachable, unlearning. When preparing to go out into the dating world, you must be ready to get to know new people and ensure it is God's timing. It's not our timing, it's God's timing. So at the right time, the Lord will make it happen. So we just want to ensure that it's God's timing. Sometimes we just want things and we believe that we should already be, but at the right time, the Lord makes it happen. And there's no rush in God's time because we know God's time is perfect. We go on our own understanding, we operate in error, we get it wrong, we make mistakes, but God's time is perfect. And we want to ensure that we are operating in divine time opposed to what we want in the time that we want to have it. So this 10-step e-guide has 10 steps as well as a dating checklist that I have created. Step 1, test the fruits. So we did go ahead and do a video of that. Step 2, get to know your date. Step 3, identify compatibilities. Step 4, know the differences. Step 5, acknowledge imperfections. Step 6, discuss personal backgrounds. Step 7, observe healed and unhealed traumas. Step 8, speak future plans. Step 9, make boundaries and expectations known. Step 10, align living structures. And then we did add a bonus dating checklist. So when you are connecting with people, getting to know new people, you can start to check off things regarding what you're looking for, your expectations, and ensuring that everything was discussed prior to deciding to move forward. As we know, there are 3 stages, which is dating, courting, then marriage. So the checklist will help to see whether you actually want to move forward into the next stage of courting. Tonight, we're going to talk about wife qualities. And this is important, especially when you are getting ready to date, how you're showing up, dating effectively, dating with purpose, dating with an intent to marry. You want to ensure that we have the qualities. right? So we're going to talk about it tonight, seeing that this is a very debatable topic for this purpose of people stating, I'm already a wife, and people being offended by that or triggered saying, no, you're not a wife, you're not married, you don't have a ring on your finger. And it then just spirals in different directions of discussion. So I want to talk about this topic tonight, being a wife prior to engagement or marriage. I do believe the context, I am already a wife, may cause controversy to those who take it as a literal tense. People are quick to, you are not already a wife statement. You're not a wife, right? For the simple fact that they don't see a ring on their finger and they're considering it in the literal tense. And they are not technically a wife, but we are going to talk about it in the figurative tense. When it is used, it's figuratively speaking, how we present ourselves as women, already having the quality of being a wife, being able to show up as a woman who presents herself as ready and prepared for marriage. Some reference it for their marriage to Christ. In all, the statement equates to the qualities of being a wife, whether it be faithfulness in your spiritual marriage or preparation for marriage. So in all, when people are stating it, they're not literally stating that they are a wife. They're just stating it as they're showing up as one in preparation for the marriage to come. That's the controversy there. If one says, I am already a wife or I have wife qualities, they are subliminally similar in meaning. However, one causes more reaction than the other. So whether someone says, I'm already a wife or I have wife qualities, they all mean the same thing because technically the person is not married and they are not someone's wife. However, they do have the qualities where they show up as a wife to be that when the time comes. This can happen, the discrepancy on whether someone states they're already a wife and someone disagrees is based on the tense on which is being discussed. One perspective is figurative, one perspective is literal, and then one perspective is spiritual. People state that they are already a wife because they are married to Christ, being the bride of Christ. So they reference that as being married or a wife. What are some qualities of being a wife? One, faithfulness. Faithfulness to your relationship with Christ that reflects the marriage you want to have. So how much you spend time with the Lord, read his word, pray, building relationship, communicating with him on a daily basis, shows your faithfulness to Christ, your first love, and that should reflect the marriage you want to have with someone. Faithfulness in other relationships as well, which is built on honesty, trust, loyalty, and being able to be dependent on, right? You want someone that you can depend on. Two, nurturer, being loving, kind, gentle, understanding, embracing, supportive, enlightening, comforting, nourishing, and helping to develop others. Especially as a woman, automatically we're just nurturers by nature. So you want to help develop mentally, spiritually, physically, like we're meant to help build. And so that is a quality of a wife. Three, restore, willing to restore, heal, reconcile differences with anticipations to resolve. So they coming in, wanting to help heal, wanting to help restore, wanting to reconcile differences with anticipation to resolve, just naturally, just wanting to be that person that lightens and just comforting. Patient and calm. Number four, able to remain in a calming state in different circumstances, despite how frustrating the matter may be. I don't know if you guys ever been in a very frustrating situation and you just want to just spaz out. But someone who presents wife qualities, they're able to remain calm no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance, and keep a peace of mind, as well as just being patient with others, understanding that everyone's on their journey, everyone's on their own walk of life, and being patient with others even if they don't see things the way that you do at the moment, or they don't agree with you in the moment, or they just listen to you later. I don't know if you guys ever had a circumstance where you tell someone something, but they don't listen to you, but then they later listen to you and they're like, you're right the whole time. Allowing people to go through their own life and their own life experiences and just being patient with them. Not saying that you have to date them at the stage that they're in, but just being patient as a quality as being a wife. You may not have to be patient with that person in that area. However, when you are looking to date, when you're looking to marry, you would have to be patient and you would have to be in a calming state as well in situations. Monotone being, having a tone that is receptive and people can actually receive what you have to say, opposed to being loud, opposed to being aggressive, being able to mean what you say and not have to raise your voice to get your point across. Number five, helpmate. You have a heart to help and serve. You just want to serve, you just want to help. ready to help your partner fulfill assignment and purpose, your husband's rib, willingness to become one and trust the lead of your significant other, ready to build. As a woman, we are called to be a helpmate, and in that, understanding that there is a purpose and an assignment for the person that you will end up marrying, and you are called to help them to get there, to align them, not calls to distract them, to delay them, to just take all their attention, but to help them fulfill the purpose that God has placed on them to do, as well as willing to become one, harmony, trusting their lead, right? Because they're meant to lead, to protect the head of the household. And you would have to also be willing to build with them. A lot of times when we're independent, we want to build everything by ourselves. But when you are coming into one with someone, being able to build together. Next, understanding, acknowledging the times and the seasons, looking to grow and use wisdom to know the times to speak, the times to be silent, and the times to act. I mean, sometimes we always got something to say, but wisdom tells us, okay, maybe it's not the time to speak. Maybe it's just time to hear them out. They may have something they want to say to us, and let me just be silent and hear them out. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but wisdom tells us when it's appropriate to do each thing. Being understanding to others in the present as well, being able to comprehend what they're trying to say when they're delivering a message, and understanding like where they are in the process. If they are expressing something to you, being able to understand their emotions, having that emotional intelligence to know, okay, their anger is just displaced right now. They're just upset right now. Let them cool down. This is truly how they feel. Maybe I need to reconsider, or maybe I need to just look at my own actions. Just really truly being understanding to what's being said, and pretty much kind of dispositioning that information correctly, whether it's something that you need to do, whether it's something that they need to do, or whether it's something that needs to be done together. Next, stability, having a firm foundation that is solid and unmovable. It's just not shakable. It's not wavering. It's stable, stable in heart and stable in mind by God. So God will allow for two people that's already stable to come together, stable in life structure, plans, ideas, and personality as much as possible. Not switching up all the time, but you actually have order in your life. You actually have a structure that can be built on top of, opposed to it being a rocky foundation and it's just super shaky. One moment is this plan, then it's this plan, and the plan's always changing, and then it's just all over the place and confusing. But just having some structure, some order, some step-by-step process to plan, to draft, to execute, and it's solid. Next, healing. In a healing journey to better self and others. We're always in a healing journey. We're constantly healing because we're always going to go through something. And it requires healing as it requires for us to continue to move forward in our healing process. And if there's anyone that's disrupting that, then we have to consider who we are around and who we're connecting with. If you're disrupting my healing moving forward, if you're trying to remind me of what it used to be, if you're trying to trigger weaknesses or vulnerabilities or just my openness to me being expressive to you, then I need to consider how close I will allow you in my life. So another wife quality would be healing, being on your healing journey, willing to self-reflect, willing to correct, willing to learn, willing to express, and willing to be held accountable. We must be accountable. These are some wife qualities. Of course, there are numerous of qualities, but I thought it important to talk about these ones tonight, especially around that topic when people say, well, you're not already a wife. Well, if you have wife qualities, then you may not be a wife. However, you have the qualities to be able to show up as one for when that time comes. Next, partnership, open to being a partner, ready for union and working together, dependency on one another, living in harmony, togetherness, becoming one. This is big for those who may be very independent, such as myself, right? Being open to someone helping, being open to partnership, being open to planning together, executing together, depending on someone to do something so that you can do something else and trusting that they'll get it done and the way that they see fit to what you would see to be excellence instead of saying, let me just do it myself, being able to trust their ability to help and becoming one. So to become one in covenant. Although there may be no physical ring on your finger, the stance of being is to show up every day in a way that reveals that you are ready for a covenant form relationship that God authorizes. So you may not be one physically, literally. However, the way that you show up will reveal that you are actually ready for such a covenant like that. I am already a wife, or I have the qualities of being a wife are similar depending on the tense of the discussion, literal, figurative, spiritual. what stance or perspective are you talking about it? Especially in the body of Christ, I know there's some Christians that say, well, I'm already a wife. And then there's some Christians that say, you're not already a wife because you don't have a ring on your finger. So what perspective of view are we actually looking at it? I'm hopeful that this discussion will enlighten those who debate this topic. But the true questions would be, do you show qualities of being a wife? We talked about some qualities today. Do you present yourself as one ready to be a wife? Some people want to be a wife, but are you ready to be a wife? Do you understand what that comes with? Not always shutting down when a conversation doesn't go your way, being dismissive, wanting to get a divorce every time there's a conflict or a disagreement, being able to mend with a softened heart, not bashing or trying to degrade or trying to make someone feel less than in the heat of the discussion or the moment. Do you understand the importance of covenant, why God has created covenant? Are you aware of the power of covenant? Are you faithful? Right? So your faithfulness to Christ should be a reflection of the marriage that you would want to have. Are you stable? Stable in heart and mind and personality as much as possible? How stable are you? Right? Are you available for a partnership? Are you ready for that? Are you available? You say you want it, but do you show that you're available for it? Do you show that you are open to it? This was a discussion tonight. That's really all that I had to talk about. I pray that this discussion is helpful and enlightening to those who may have had those type of controversies or like back and forth with people, that it kind of brings a middle ground to that. Whereas if someone states that they're already wife, understands that they're not a wife physically, but they are figuratively based on the qualities that they have. I pray the discussion will just allow for people to just be more understanding when people may have those type of discussions, and try to look at it from the perspective of someone who may be speaking on it in a figurative way. Thank you all so much for joining, and you guys have a good evening.